Get in. The amount of people it is in here right now. Algeria is beautiful though, I'm not gonna cap.
It's the gate of Africa, Algeria.
The gate?
The gate, yeah.
What that mean? Like you gotta...
Europe is the first country.
Oh!
It's the largest country in Africa in the Arab world also at the same time.
Wait, Algeria's the biggest country in Africa?
Yes, in Africa in the world, Arab world also.
Really?
Yes. And
I
when
never
people
knew that.
get coming from Europe, the first thing they see this from the very far.
Hi there, you're most welcome to today's episode. So we are still on IShowSpeed. He's still on his tour to Africa, and of recent he has been to North Africa, and the reception that side wasn't so much like in the sub-Saharan part of Africa. The vibe, it was a bit different. There were some issues there with him being forced in Algeria to get out of the National Stadium. Some fans behave negatively towards other people, and that is what happened in Algeria. And this really caused a lot of reactions and negativity towards the Algerians. And of course, Africans are saying that IShowSpeed was warned about that part of Africa because of the things that have been happening that side to some black Africans who have been like going there. So we are going to watch some clips from IShowSpeed's tour in Algeria, and then of course we listen to some reactions from different people. And without wasting much time, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's get started. I'll catch up with you after these clips are played.
Algeria backflip!
You know what? This is yours now. You're officially Algerian. You're one of us.
So I can keep it?
You keep it. Bro.
Alright,
Love
Chad.
you, bro. Love you, bro.
Stay where you are. Stay where you are. Wait.
So IShowSpeed's stream in Algeria ended in chaos. When he was in the stadium, the Algerian soccer fans started chucking things at him, and it made him end the stream early because he felt so unwelcome. Now this is sad because, you know, he's a very upbeat person and he's trying to show the positives of the country, and then you do that to him. I don't really know why they did that, but you could see it affected him. Now, I think cultural customs are important, but at the same time, I feel like you should be understanding and a bit gentle with how you communicate that to the person, especially if they're trying to show you the positives of your country. But I will say that most of the Algerian people were friendly and warm towards him. It was just a few that ruined it. And I think it's important because when a few act bad, it reflects bad on the whole country. But most of the country did embrace him.
Martiez?
Famous martyr Ali Lapointe was killed here on October of 1957. But the French, they experienced this house. They have 4 martyrs inside and 20 martyrs neighbors in the revolution. Yes. Are you see the movie Battle of Algiers?
No.
A famous film. They talk.
It's on Netflix?
On Netflix, yeah. Battle of Algiers, Italian film produced after the independence here. They talk about this revolution in this city, Battle of Algiers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this one is a martyr killed here.
Martyr.
They explode the house and are killed here. They have forced the child just 13 and the women 19, 18 and 27. Ali Lapointe. Omar Sagir, le petit Omar, Ali Lapointe, Hasiba bin Bouali, and Mahmoud Bouhamidi. 4 martyrs was killed here in this house.
In this house?
Yeah.
They are ultras. They don't like to film them. Okay?
They had a football game.
Yeah. But they are ultras. You know, the ultras mentality.
That don't make sense. You don't like being filmed?
But they are friendly.
But a football match is filming everybody.
Check the other side out.
Hell no! No, they're not. They gonna start throwing water. They gonna start throwing water. What? No. I don't know. For the atmosphere. match. They don't like me here, bro. We should just leave. I'm just here to watch the football match. These fans too crazy. Look, I would understand if I had the opposite jersey on, but bro.
It is exciting.
I feel like I belong here, bro. I'm about to dip.
It is exciting.
Hey, don't throw water, bro. Don't throw water. Don't throw no water.
Imagine being called the hard R while in Africa. Africa, the place where brown and black people were created.
Watch, guys.
They don't like me. No. I don't. They keep throwing water at me. I just came here to watch the football game, bro. I don't know what's up with these fans. Let's get out there. Let's get out of here. I'm leaving. I think I'm not welcomed here. I don't understand. All of my fans show love in Algeria, but at that stadium, I don't know. They should have just chucked the green apple at me.
So I was watching this IShowSpeed African tour. I was watching it, you know, the first African country he went to was Congo. You know, he was shown too much love. He went to Ethiopia, he went to Kenya, he went to other countries, you know. He really appreciated the love they were really showing him. And he went to Morocco, he went to Algeria, he went to Egypt. He was so disappointed. He was so disappointed. See, IShowSpeed, one thing you should know is that just because this northern country are in African continents, they don't see themselves as Africans. They don't see themselves as Africans. See, let me tell you something. They hate being Africans. They hate being called Africans. They might come to your front and be like, oh, I'm African too. But inside of them, they hate being African. I'm telling you, if they can even remove themselves from the word Africans, they will. If they can even remove themselves from the continent of Africa, they will. They don't see themselves as Africans. So you don't expect the same love from the real African countries to an Arab country just because they're in African continent. You think you can get the same love? No. They are Arab countries. They see themselves as Arab. They don't see themselves as Africans. They don't even like the word African. Because I saw your video in Algeria when they were throwing you bottles, you know, throwing you some kind of things. You know, these people, you see, let's be honest to ourselves. They don't like African people. They don't. Just because they're in the continent of Africa, you think they're Africans. No, they are not. They are not. You can't get the same love from these people. You can't. You can't. They even hate being called Africans. Even if they come in your front, I'll be like, oh, I'm African. They are not. Inside of them, they hate being called Africans. So you can't get the same love from them. Go to the main African countries. You went to South Africa. There was love. They show you enough love. You went there. You went to Egypt. There were no the same love. You know? They don't like African. I'm telling you, they don't like Africa. Despite they're in African continent, they don't like Africans. Let's don't lie to ourselves. They never see themselves as African. So avoid these northern countries. Just avoid it. You know, I know you're going to come to Nigeria. I know you're going to come to Ghana. These are countries. These are people who are going to show you true love, just as Congo has shown you true love, just as Ethiopia has shown you love, just as South Africa has shown you love. These people don't see themselves as African. Just get that into your head. You know, I know you were disappointed in Egypt. I know you were disappointed in Algeria. I know you were disappointed in Morocco. I know. You're not getting the love. No, it's not like that. These people are not Africans. We don't even see them as Africans. We don't. So be careful.
This is a message to all the Algerians, man. I know your country's PR is kind of in the mud right now because Speed just got attacked on his stream. However, it could have been a lot worse. You're actually lucky they only threw water bottles and stones at Speed. Because if they start throwing bananas, bro, that... You know what I'm saying? You guys would struggle trying to beat those racist allegations. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least now you can say, nah, bro, it's just you thought he was thirsty and that. Touring around Africa.
Addressing the Speed situation, because multiple people are tagging me and even asking me about what the hell's going on. As you know, I am Algerian, and what happened to Speed is freaking embarrassing as shit. Like, really is. It's sad to see. Why is my country doing this? Like, why are we doing that? But it goes to show there's always racist people in the world. People will just not like other people for no reason. Like, brother just came in to watch a game. Why are we throwing water bottles? Why? What is the reason? Brother has nothing to do with the game. He's just there watching. It makes no sense. Fat L, but as always, not every Algerian is like this. We're not all like this. It is what it is. I'll see you guys next time.
Algeria lost a lot of points on the world stage. The way they treated IShowSpeed, I believe, is going to come back to them in the form of less tourism because they literally had Speed running. IShowSpeed, the most loved guy in America, and frankly, the world. And for them to show as a country that they actually don't like him for whatever reason. Algeria is one of the northern countries of Africa, and it is said that African countries in the north just don't like the south. And this was a clear example for anybody that did not believe that or had the benefit of the doubt. The excuse was that they don't like being filmed, but you could clearly see the guy that was telling him that it's because they don't like being filmed has a camera filming them, and they are actually filming. Like, this is not Speed's team, and other people have cameras out. Speed's father was in tears as well because of this. He was seeing how they were treating Speed, and he was literally in tears. I never expected to see any country in Africa treat Speed in any other way. The other countries were so beautiful, so amazing, so loving and giving as a country, and this country in Algeria, it was just not it. It was not it completely, and I don't think people are just gonna want to go visit after this.
They keep throwing water at me. Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. I'm leaving. I think I'm not welcomed here.
Vive Algeria! The people in Algeria literally threw water at IShowSpeed simply because IShowSpeed went to a stadium to watch a football game and they said, oh, nos ultras n'aiment pas qu'on les filme. Our supporters don't want to be filmed. These people are at a football game. They are being filmed. The game is broadcasted. They are already being filmed. What kind of lame excuse is this? Vive Algeria! We are not even surprised. We knew this was gonna happen. We already knew that IShowSpeed's passage in North Africa was gonna be the worst. The only country in North Africa that is worth visiting a little bit is Morocco. The only country that can save North Africa from this embarrassment is Morocco. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I think IShowSpeed should just go back to Ethiopia at this point. Like, Speed, just go back to Ethiopia. Yeah. I'm literally just doing a review of what's happening during IShowSpeed's stream. I'm not fabricating anything, okay? I'm going based on the material I find. That's the only thing I'm doing. So y'all giving me the material. This is not just me making up something about Algeria. This is something that happened in Algeria. Vive Algeria! Congratulations to Algeria. You guys made it. You guys finally made it as the worst stream ever.
Bro, the hate that IShowSpeed got being in Algeria, from people calling him the GER word to throwing things at him at the stadium, it just shows how European people always have treated the darker skin.
Let's get out there. Get out of here. Let's get out of here.
Now, obviously, I can't play the clip of like this guy calling him the GER word while he's on top of the car just touring around the city, but it actually baffles me how every country in Africa Speed's been to, he has not dealt with like racism at all. But the only two countries he's dealt with weirdness is Egypt and Algeria. Now, if you didn't know, elephant in the room, Algeria used to be ran by France, which is European, and Europeans have done way more than boil some water and cook some pasta. They also stir the pot. It's just crazy how Speed's the biggest streamer and just trying to promote Africa in these countries in Africa, and he has to deal with like weird people like this. Like, at least with the Egypt stream and the whole Sphinx nose situation where the tour guide told him that the reason why there's no nose is because they didn't want Sphinx to appear as a god. At least they gave him a buttered down version and then start throwing things at him and like getting upset. Overall, it's just a bad look for Algeria, and it just showed that European culture really stemmed a lot of this bad stuff that was happening in America and still happening to this day.
Speed was not hit by bottles of water because it's racially motivated or because he's black. That happened because he accidentally tried to film Ultras members, and you cannot do that. It's strictly forbidden within football culture and rules. If you visit any country across the planet and you try to go to a stadium anywhere on the planet and you try to film the Ultras members, the same thing would happen to you. I myself, 2 years ago, I was in a stadium and I didn't know that you're not supposed to film the Ultras, and they searched my phone, they deleted every single video, and they said, hey, please do not film us. We want to hide our identities. So please, for the love of God, the stream was great. It was nearly perfect. Everything was good. The vibes were cool. The dances were beautiful. The country is beautiful. Speed loved everything about the country. The people loved him and embraced him. It was cool. It was respectful. These white Algerians, they want to be white. Want to be white. We were colonized by white people for 132 years. What are you talking about? You know, this country was one of the first countries to endorse the Black Panthers. Learn some history before you open your mouth. And thank you to Speed for being the man he always was, because I love the stream. Honestly, it was beautiful.
Algeria, wrap that shit up if you ever be in a tour destination after what you did to IShowSpeed today. If y'all didn't see, IShowSpeed was trying to attend a soccer game, and these fans were throwing water at him to the point that he had to leave and end his stream early. And knowing how all of the other countries have treated IShowSpeed so far, Algeria and North Africa, this is a real bad look for y'all. Now, I'm not going to act like I'm an expert on Africa because I'm not, but I'm forever learning. But I've heard things about North Africa and their racism. And seeing it transpire in real time with IShowSpeed, someone that's been giving genuinely great energy and making and inspiring people and the things around him, for y'all to treat him like that, it's just like, why are y'all so mean and hateful? It's like this man is trying to come to your country to get the best experience, learn the best food, the best places, the best things, meet the best energy of people. And what do y'all decide to do? Throw water at him, heckle him? Like, you guys have probably ruined millions of dollars in the future, because a lot of people that might have want to consider going to Algeria will not after seeing how y'all transpired today. And it's just like, do better. Why are y'all treating someone just like that because of the color of their skin? We really got to move past shit like this.
IShowSpeed was attacked yesterday in Algeria in a stadium where he went to watch football. And you won't believe, people there started throwing bottles of water on him. And it's turning out, according to IShowSpeed, he was not welcomed at all in Algeria, and people don't like him, where he was forced to end the live stream immediately because he feared for his life. You won't believe this, and it has literally drawn a controversial tension online, whereby a lot of people are saying that it's like Algeria is no longer a safe nation at all, because you've actually seen how other nations are literally welcoming IShowSpeed, good energy, there's peace, there is love, there is unity. But it's turning out that in Algeria, it was totally a different thing. And people are saying that white people don't like the black people. So something like racism has actually drawn boundaries. And remember, this is a nation in Africa, but the people in Algeria have come out trying to defend themselves that IShowSpeed was actually trying to film the people in the stadium without their consent. And it is literally against everything. You won't believe this. Anyway, let's keep on watching. I'll keep you updated.
All right, we need to talk about the IShowSpeed thing in Algeria. So I'm seeing a lot of content about Speed going to that football stadium and getting water bottles thrown at him. And people are saying it's because of the Ultras. That would have made sense if it happened in one spot in the stadium. So yes, as footy fans well know, you can't film ultras for whatever clubs. These are hooligans. They don't want to be filmed. So when he was in the VIP section, it would make sense that he got a water bottle thrown at him. The issue is that he then proceeded to move completely to the pitch, to the grass pitch of the field, where, as with any professional match, there are cameras, there are cameramen, there are people filming. The audience is in the stage, not directly the ultras. And once he got on the pitch, another section of the stadium proceeded to throw more water bottles at him. So, unless you're telling me that there were ultra sections everywhere in the stadium, which any footy fan knows that's not how ultras work. Ultras have a designated section, usually away from the opposition, to stop fights. That didn't make sense. And on top of that, another clip of his stream came out where he was literally hanging out in a car in the street with an Algeria jersey, and someone called him the N-word hard R. To add to that, there's just been this huge drama at AFCON when an Algerian player mocked Patrice Lumumba and a fan that was a Congo fan who was going to the games dressed as Patrice Lumumba. I'm not saying Algerians are racist, because I know a lot of Algerians, and I know that Algerians definitely like identify as Africans. They have their own issues with Arabs of the peninsula and all that. But that's a bad look. That's a really bad look. And we also know that colorism is pretty prevalent in the Maghreb region. So I will be quiet. Like, I see people trying to defend the ultra thing and say, no, but like Speed can't record here. Every footy fan knows. But it doesn't add up with what was on stream. It just doesn't add up. You guys have some explaining to do, unfortunately.
Guys, while Speed was in Zambia, he was all smiles, and he said that Africa is full of love. He even said that there was not a single place where he didn't belong. And the top comment said, North Africa will soon show my boy reality of the continent. Well, now Speed is in Algeria, and look at his response to getting water thrown at him.
Oh, yeah. I tried to show y'all, like, this is the, like, biggest two rivalries in Algeria. They're two big football clubs, but I think I'm not welcomed here. Like, I'm just trying to watch the damn
What do you guys think about this? Do you think that comment was just a coincidence, or do you think it came from experience? Because when Speed went to that stadium, he did his research and he knew that rival teams were playing each other, and he tried to promote Algeria. But in return, he was getting water bottles thrown at him. Let me know what you guys think about this. Comment below.
Bro, this IShowSpeed racism incident that happened in Algeria is insane. Obviously, Algeria is not in Europe, it's in Africa, but they don't claim to be African, they claim to be Arab. And the fact that people are trying to justify this racism thing when they were all throwing stuff at him in the stadium because he had his hand in his pants, bro, that is not true at all. Locals were literally calling him the GER as he was just casually driving around in the city. It's the fact that it's only the Arab countries that are racist towards people. IShowSpeed is just doing his job as a streamer, showing all these different cultures and countries in Africa, and the Arab countries are definitely being exposed. The fact that they also try to justify the racism as like, you don't know Algerian soccer fans. Come on, bro, no matter what type of soccer fans you are, that's just ignorant to say. I don't know, this whole thing just got me fired up because it's the fact that like, I didn't know this was happening in Africa. And it just shows that it all stems from Europeans because Europe used to rule Algeria. So when I said Algeria and Europe had correlation in my video, it wasn't saying that Algeria was Europe. You got, come on. That's what I'm saying. I just feel like Algerians found any way to like wrap around the fact of like the racism act they were doing. Don't let it go over your head. Everyone knew exactly what I was saying in that video. Europeans used to rule most of North Africa, hence why they don't like to say they're African, they like to say they're Arab. And I'm not saying all of North Africans are racist. I just think that history does show itself here, and that from IShowSpeed streams, you can definitely tell that North Africa is a lot more different than South Africa.
Algeria has been the worst place IShowSpeed has gone on his Africa tour. And I, for one, when I get to Africa, will not be visiting. Some of the people there were nice, but a lot were not. Like an entire football stadium full of people hurling words and vegetables at Speed. Like he's not literally helping out tourism here. And I already knew this was going to happen, which is why I didn't talk about any of it after day one. I purposely waited for day two because I knew it's coming. If I'm being entirely real with you, I'm going to be checking in on Speed in Northern Africa, but I'm not really excited because I already know how they view us. I know how they view themselves. When I go to Africa, I will be skipping over quite a few areas in Northern Africa. Algeria, you're the worst. How's it feel to know that the one time that you get a major influencer in your area, you completely sell the bag because you can't get out of your own way? Every other part of the tour has been better. How ironic is it that the closer people get to looking like this, the worse they view this? Speed, you were very professional. Never go back to Algeria. Oh, and grown man, by the way. Don't believe me? Watch this. Yeah, I'm good on Algeria.
Why are North Africans getting a lot of heat after the Speed stream? Let's talk about it. Now, as we know, IShowSpeed was just in Egypt, right? And I'm gonna be real with you. They were getting a lot of backlash. Well, North Africans were getting a lot of backlash from the African diaspora, and I'm gonna explain to you why. You had a lot of comments talking about how this was a boring stream, how Egypt is not welcoming to black folk, why are you even in North Africa, and a whole bunch of other critiques. A lot of black people, right, if I'm gonna be honest, see the North African world as a world full of revisionist history. Due to a lot of anti-blackness that does rest up there, you have a lot of our culture and our history that isn't necessarily noticed or recognized or respected in North Africa. And for those that do respect and understand the history, trust and believe, they had to seek it outside of their own specific culture. And it's not something that's just paraded around every day in their societies. And this has been a big complaint about the Arab world for a long time. It isn't just that accepting of us as black people. A lot would say that the Arab world is extremely racist, sometimes even as racist or if not more racist than the YT societies. And I'm not looking to get into an entire debate with a bunch of Muslim Arabs from North Africa saying, no, we're nice, no, we're this, we're that, we're the third. At the end of the day, Arab culture is extremely racist, right? And while black people have tried to commingle with the cultures because a lot of them rest in Africa, we have not been accepted to do such. So when Speed's in locations like this and he's not getting the utmost respect like he was getting in East Africa, South Africa, or wherever else on the continent he's been, people see it as an immediate abort mission, right? They were saying, don't go over to Mauritania, don't go to Tunisia, don't go to Morocco. It's because of the anti-blackness in these cultures, if we're just being honest. I'm gonna be honest, it wasn't the most exciting stream. I watched the entire stream, but definitely I still do enjoy the fact of him bridging gaps of division, because then maybe this could be a moment in time to where we can truly understand the true side of North Africans when it comes to their younger generation. Maybe the racism and everything like that of North Africa is that of the older generations, and maybe the newer generations are starting to become more exciting, or more accepting. I don't know, but hey, that's what I can take from the backlash I'm seeing.
So if you are able to watch all those clips, thank you so much. Not just being like biased, because we are not here to judge anyone by color or by religion, but it's just about sharing facts. Africans really try to warn IShowSpeed about that part of Africa, which is North Africa, that he may not have good experience there. And of course, they knew what they were talking about, because for a long period of time, there has been complaints about the mistreatment made towards the black Africans. And yeah, after a good hospitality and a warm welcome to Algeria, IShowSpeed, at the end of the day, tested what Africans had been telling him. So most people are saying that if you compare this tour of North Africa to the sub-Saharan African countries tour, of course there is a very big difference. The mood, the motivation, just generally. And of course Egypt is being rated as the most boring tour of all times for IShowSpeed and even his fans. Although of course it has a more deeper history. Like, people got to know what they didn't know. Like, most of us who have never been to Egypt, we got to see what we had not seen before. And IShowSpeed, of course, asking those questions, it was eye-opening for most of us, because I imagine there are some tourists who would go there, but they wouldn't see the difference maybe in those statutes. IShowSpeed's questions were really important questions. However, I'm not here to talk about Egypt. I will talk about Algeria So in North Africa, they mainly use the Arabic language in their communication and French because they were majorly colonized by France, and then Egypt was later on colonized by Britain. However, much of it was colonized by France. Of course, it left its impacts there. So the North Africans identify more with whiteness than blackness. They are mostly Arabs, and they identify more with the Middle Easterners than the Sub-Saharan Africans. Algeria is the biggest country in Africa by land area, and also one of the most exporters or producers of oil and natural gas. However, it's a peaceful country, and their military is mainly for defensive purposes. In fact, it helped out countries like South Africa, Angola, and Mozambique during the anti-colonial struggles. It's one of the strongest supporters of the African unity, and it's a member of the African Union. It is also a member of OPEC. So like I said, they speak more of Arab. Most of them are light-skinned. French is also widely spoken. And then it's a predominantly Muslim country. It's the largest country in Africa, but the biggest part of it is a desert. Yeah, they have an Arab history, and they are also part of the Arab League. And this brings us to this part where they say North Africa, or in particular Algeria that we are looking at, is racist, or they discriminate against other Africans. This is so because Algerians or North Africans identify as Africans, but they don't identify as Black Africans. So they claimed racism in North Africa is because of the identity gap between the Arabs and Africans. And like I said, more North Africans identify more with the Arabs than with Black Africans. In fact, they sometimes call themselves as Mediterraneans, Middle Easterners, rather than Black or Sub-Saharan Africans. And therefore, this is what really creates the tension. Because the Sub-Saharan Africans see North Africans as Africans first, but the North Africans see Sub-Saharan Africans as blacks, and culturally also distance themselves from Black Africa. And therefore, this identity gap can come across as rejection, discrimination, or even superiority when it's not really intended. And that is why Africans still insist that they warned him about that part of Africa. Another thing which makes people of North Africa to be seen as racists or discriminators is because of the colorism and anti-blackness. Because in North Africa, lighter skin is always preferred, while the darker skin can be unfairly associated with poverty, migrant labor, and lower status, which later on leads to discrimination against the Black Africans, harassment of migrants, and the negative stereotypes. However, take note that this is a social problem. It's not a genetic or a religious one. Another thing which makes North Africa to feel like they are racists or discriminators is because of the migration tensions. You know that we have been seeing cases of some African people who go through North Africa traveling to Europe. And therefore this causes economic pressure, social tensions, crime stereotypes, and political frustrations. And sadly, migrants are blamed for that, leading to racism and xenophobia, the colonial influence and mentality. European colonization left behind racial hierarchies like preference for European futures and internalized anti-blackness attitude. And France in particular shaped views in Algeria, Morocco, and Tunisia. And hence some attitudes today are colonial leftovers. African media sometimes portray North Africans as arrogant or racists, while portraying sub-Saharan Africans as poor or criminals. And of course, these images deepen misunderstandings on both sides. And of course, with all that we have heard, you can relate to why some North Africans treat the black Africans in a maybe inferiority way. Yeah, that is where it all comes from. And IShowSpeed's experience wasn't, of course, the best. However, we advocate for African unity and not division because we need each other in different ways. And with that, I will not add on something. I will end this video here. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about this behavior in Algeria? Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's catch up in the next episode.